Hi, Natalie.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am good. I hope you are.
Yeah, no complaints.
I don't like this rainy weather.
Hi, Natalie. Oh, wait, I gotta turn up, hold, I gotta turn off something in the background. Wait,
I am good. I hope you are.
hold on a second. I gotta turn the
I
YouTube
don't
one
like
off.
this rainy weather.
Hi, Natalie. No, there we go. Okay. Were you hearing two recordings also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, what I'm trying to put it on YouTube at the same time, and if I don't turn the YouTube off, it plays it a few seconds later. So it's it's always something, trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah, technology is great when it works. Like you want
Yeah,
it.
it works. It's pilot error, I think, is the biggest problem.
I have a lot of those.
Yeah, I'm sure the person who designed the system, it makes perfect sense, but unfortunately for normal people, it's still weird. Like, there's just so many little things that can impact the whole thing. It's kind of funny.
Yes, sir.
I think we got a few people coming on, hopefully. Hey, Zach, how are you, buddy? Hey, Zach, how are you?
Hey, doing well yourself, Dennis?
Yeah, pretty good. Trying to stay dry. Is it raining out in Nashville?
It was this morning, but it's tapered off. Yeah, I was out digging some drainage trenches this morning.
Is that for the chocolate to run off from behind the counter or what?
No, we bought some land in an old farmhouse just outside of town in the fall, and it needed a lot of maintenance. It had been kind of neglected for a while, and just dealing with a lot of water mitigation things these days.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's another full-time job.
Yeah, I'm a city slicker. I'll admit it. Everyone who knows me will vouch for that. And I live with my wife on her family farm, and let's just say um, I'm more like Zsa Zsa Gabor, and my wife is more like Eddie Arnold on Green Acres. Uh, she knows how to weld and fix fences and ride tractors, and all I do is say, "Who do I call for this?" And I just get these blank looks, like there is no one to call.
Honey.
Yeah, you don't. Aren't some people in like brown uniforms or green uniforms supposed to show up and just fix stuff? But apparently not. So
Yeah, yeah, same here. But it's
yeah,
coming. I quite enjoy it. I'm quite happy about it.
good for you. Good for you. When I first moved here, I was driving down the driveway, uh, and it was in July or August, and it was close to 100 degrees, I think. And as I came up the driveway, I saw two shovels coming out of a ditch in the front yard, and dirt was flying out of the shovel. And as I got closer, it was my wife's dad, who at that time was 85,
Oh
and
shoot.
his friend, who was 88, and a water line had broke. So they had dug a trench over their heads by hand. It was
Wow.
about 40 feet long. They've been working on it all day, and they just kind of waved at me and kept digging. And that's just the way they roll around here. Karen Scalp can vouch for me on that, I think.
Some
So
hard workers.
yeah,
You know, I actually have an
different.
electrical inspector I need to let in real quick, but
Okay,
I'll be
go
right
ahead. Yeah.
back.
All right. Hey, Tom, how you doing today?
Doing well, Dennis. How are you doing?
All right. How's the toilet plunger business going?
Um, we're cranking along. I got some other little things going on the side right now. So we got a local tap room here that right when COVID hit, they were trying to figure out how they're going to stay open. And I designed these fobs where they could put a RFID tag in them, and it allowed them to go contactless and stay open. And the guy messaged me yesterday and said, people are walking out with these things and they need to replenish their stock. So I'm 3D printing these parts for him right now. So it's consumed a good part of the day, but
Do you have a
all
3D
good.
printer? Do you have a 3D printer at your house?
I do. I have two of them actually. In fact, I make one of the parts to assemble my plunger right now to connect the handle to the rubber force cup.
Okay.
And you know, because paying for a mold right now for injection molding that, it's just as cheap to, I won't say cheap, but it's cheaper to do, you know, run print parts than it is to pay for a mold when I don't have large volumes at this point. So yeah, I'm doing that on my own.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
All right. Well, we'll give it another minute or so. I'll be right back. I got to move a light around a little bit here.
Yes. Let me get my license. Real estate thing off here.
Hopefully everyone can see me a little better now. Okay. It's so dark today. It's like nighttime out there.
Oh, shoot.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
Hey, Hi, Dennis.
You're doing fine. Looks like you're rolling pretty good.
Okay. There we go.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to get started, and there may be some other folks joining us. So I don't know if Brady's on or not. I don't see him. So hopefully we won't have any major disasters. So today I'm going to talk about a little bit about influencer marketing and what that is. And I'm also going to talk about how to build your email list, how to really grow your potential I'm going to call them prospects, your prospects and potential customers. So we've got a couple things we're going to talk about, and then we also can just chat and answer questions and just talk in general if we want to do that as well. So I've got a short video that I'm going to start. It's only like 6 minutes long, and it's about influencer marketing. So I think it'll do a better job than me trying to explain it here. So let's try that. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see that.
I can.
Oh, good. Okay. Let me give it a start here.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Jamie Turner. This is In 60, where in 60 seconds, I'm going to talk to you about a tool, tip, or technique you can use in order to improve your career or grow your sales and revenues. Let's get started with influencer marketing. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the #1 mistake people make with influencer marketing. But let's start off with some statistics that might be of interest to you. VAMP did a research study where they found out that 61% of those surveyed said they engage with an influencer on any given day. Wow, that's pretty big news. The same survey found out that 87% of those surveyed bought a product or service based on influencer input. So we know influencer marketing works. The problem is, if you're a marketer and you're trying to figure out how to get into influencer marketing, you might be focusing on the wrong thing. Here's what I mean. A lot of marketers are interested with influencers on the breadth rather than the depth of their engagement. Breadth is how many followers that influencer has, and believe it or not, that's not what you should be focusing on. What you should be focusing on is depth of engagement that that influencer has with their audience. The deeper the engagement goes, the more bang for the buck you're gonna get from the engagement. So focus on depth of engagement when you're trying to figure out an influencer to work with, rather than breadth. Okay, if you like what you've heard so far, I got 8 more tips, 7, 8, 9, 10, I forget how many tips more for you. Stick around, let's dive in, and we'll talk about the other tips that you can use in influencer marketing to help grow your sales and revenues. Let's get started. Okay, I've already given you tip #1, which was to focus on depth rather than breadth. Here's tip number 2, check the analytics of the influencers you're thinking about working with. There's a great tool out there called Social Blade that you can use in order to track the influencers' engagement with their followers and also figure out how many followers they have and a lot of different analytics. They give you a neat little dashboard that gives you a grade on that influencer to help you understand whether or not that influencer would be a good fit for your brand. Tip number 3, before hiring an influencer, track their activity using Agorapulse. Now, you know that I'm a big fan of Agorapulse. Not only do they sponsor In60, but I also use them on a daily basis in order to deploy my social media campaigns. But they have a valuable tool on Agorapulse that goes beyond that that you can use if you're thinking about getting into the influencer marketing game. It's a listening tool where you can go in and start following influencers and listen in on their conversations to figure out whether or not they're a fit for your brand. So use Agorapulse in order to listen in on the influencers and figure out whether or not they're going to be able to grow your sales and revenues. Which leads me to tip number 4 right there. Tip number 4 is micro-influencers achieve an average of 7 times more engagement than influencers with large followings. That means that on average, if you're a micro-influencer, somebody with 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 followers, you're going to be engaged with your followers 7 times more frequently than the big influencers are. Now that can have a major impact on your business because if you engage with a micro influencer, instead of spending a ton of money to engage with one of the big influencers, you're engaging with a micro influencer, you're going to get more bang for your buck in that engagement. Tip number 5. Tip number 5. If you have zero budget, consider an affiliate relationship with the influencer. That means that instead of paying them with money, you're paying them a slice of the action. For every product that you sell, they get a slice of the action. Here's why it might work out for you. First of all, you don't have to have a big budget in order to establish an affiliate relationship. But secondly, in an affiliate relationship, that influencer then says, the more I promote that product or service, the more money I make. Ka-ching, they like that, you like that, everybody likes that. So if you don't have a big budget, think about using an affiliate relationship instead of a traditional relationship, and that might be the solution that you're looking for. Tip number 6, instead of hiring an influencer with a lot of followers, hire an influencer with expertise in your industry. Here's the best way to explain what I'm talking about here. If let's say that you make tennis rackets, you're trying to find an influencer to work with. You have 2 choices. One is an influencer with 1 million followers. The other is an influencer with 100,000 followers. Now that other influencer happens to be a tennis pro who's going to be at Wimbledon next year. The big 1 million person influencer, guess what? They never even play tennis. If you're looking for a way to engage with your prospects and your customers in an authentic way, then you're going to want to use that influencer who has expertise in your field because they can talk about things with a lot more authenticity and genuineness in terms of how they're engaging with your product or service and how they're engaging with their fans. Tip number 7, be sure you have an offer in most of the campaigns you run. Influencer marketing campaigns usually are one of 2 kinds. The branding kind or the direct response kind. They're both important. Branding should be maybe 50% of what you do, which is really just building awareness through the influencer so that people are aware of your link to that influencer and are aware of your product or service. The other half of what you do should be direct response oriented. That should drive people through to your website so they can buy your product or service on the website. Both kinds of campaigns are important, but if you do the direct response kind of campaign, you want to make sure that you're using a campaign that has an offer in it. An offer has to be something like get 10% off by clicking this link now. Free trial for 14 days. It doesn't matter, whatever the offer is, it has to be part of it in order to drive clicks through to your website. Tip number 8, use branded links in order to increase the click-through rate by up to 39%. Now this was a study done by Rebrandly. Rebrandly is actually a link shortening company that can go in and do branded links. So for example, you might have Virgin as your link, or you might have Pepsi as your link, or the New York Times has NY Times as their link. This is one of the ways that people have been able to increase the click-through rate on the links that they put in their social media posts through the influencers. So if you're interested in trying to test your way to success and see if those kinds of things work, use branded links and you might find a 39% increase in your click-through rate just by using a branded link. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. I'm gonna do a quick recap for you. Point number one, focus on depth instead of breadth. Point number two, check the analytics of the influencers you're considering working with. Point number three, before hiring an influencer, track their activity using Agorapulse so you can listen in on what they're doing and figure out if it's a fit for you. Point number four, if you have zero budget for an influencer, consider using an affiliate relationship. Those often work. Point number five, instead of hiring an influencer with a lot of followers, hire an influencer with expertise in your industry. You'll get much better results that way. And then point number six, use branded links in order to increase clicks by as much as 39%. Now, I hope all those tips worked for you. My name is Jamie Turner. This has been In 60. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button down below or hit the bell so that you get notified next time we upload one of these episodes. Most of all, leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay. All right, so that guy was fast talking, but there's a couple of gems in there, I thought. When you think about an influencer, generally people think of somebody who is on YouTube or Facebook or some Instagram, and is some kind of pop culture icon of one kind or another. But there are lots of other kinds of influencers as well. That could be people in your community. It could be a minister of a big church. It could be a mayor of your town or of your county, some other official that has some name recognition, some sort of person. And if you think about it, many of those people have kind of a vested interest in your success. If your business is successful, then that helps that area in terms of economic development or growth. So it could be as simple as taking a picture of the person holding your product and running those on your Facebook and your other ad places, website and so forth, emails, social media postings. But those kinds of things can build your audience faster and for much less cost than you might think. And he also mentioned the idea of affiliate programs. These are programs where you don't pay the money up front, but you pay a commission when somebody buys something from that affiliate link. That works as well. It depends on your product and your area where you're trying to operate. In the populated areas like the Triangle or Charlotte or even Asheville, Winston-Salem, Wilmington, these are more populated areas, and you might find yourself working with someone in one of those areas to do some kind of co-branding advertisement. You could do an interview on YouTube and talk to them. It could be a well-known farmer. It could be Steve Troxler of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture. He'd probably be willing to do an interview or some sort of promotion with some of you. So I hope that it's just an introduction, but the idea is to find a credible endorser. The word endorser is really no different than representative or someone who can help your brand get traction. And it could be, you could try lots of different ones to see what works. It could be like I said, a local politician or somebody in your area, in your region that's well known and would be willing to work with you in some form or fashion to promote your products and your services. Any questions on that whole arena of influencer marketing?
Yeah, Dennis, I have one.
Yeah.
So this is something that we've been thinking about with our business at Hopgood Hemp, to kind of get us going. We don't have a lot of budget for, outside salespeople. We really want to drive people to our website as the primary, active ways to purchase. And so I'm curious if there's anybody in our group or you're aware, are folks doing successful affiliate marketing kind of with a homemade system, kind of like put in Dennis at checkout kind of system, which we can easily do. But I've also noticed there's some real affiliate marketing software packages or plugins for your site. And wonder if there's any information or opinions around that system.
Anybody? Yeah, I think, I've used affiliate marketing software in the past because what I was doing was national in scope. So it worked very well at that time. This is a long time ago, 15 years ago. So I really don't know currently if that's as big a deal. If you're looking at a smaller geography, a region or a town or a county, I would say try doing a coupon code like you just said, where you're referencing. It could be creative, like a talking dog and an ad, right? That tells you to buy buy hemp from you. It's good for aching paws or something. I mean, you can come up with different kinds of promotions, but I think, depending on the cost of the affiliate marketing, I would test it out and see if they have a trial period, where you can try it and you have the ability to fence it geography wise so that it's in an area that you're interested in. It's not just blasting across the country. But I would experiment. I know in the past, the affiliate software works really well. But that was a different internet, really, is what it amounts to. But I think trying different kinds of promotions with different kinds of ideas, there's been a lot of success out there with people who kind of created a brand spokesperson. I use the example of a dog, or it could be a cartoon character. It could be, almost anything you can think of that, represents your brand and talks about why your brand is so good and tries to capture some attention. This is something you can do on social media really well. You can go live on Facebook. You can go live on Instagram. Even if you don't go all the way with the comments sold that we've talked about before, you could still build awareness and traffic using your social media. So, that's kind of my reaction. I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to add.
Mm-mm.
No, I did have another question. What are sort of normal costs for things like this? It's not much I know about, like kind of entry level, or where people spend on that sort of thing is.
It's all over the place depending on your scope. Generally, when I did affiliate marketing software, it was a pay per click model, and the one that was the most successful was $1 per click, but they drove business like crazy. It was nuts. I mean, we were paying them $50,000 and $60,000 a month, but it was based on sales, so we could afford it. It wasn't that big a deal. So I think the hard part is finding something that works for your niche in your area. And I would experiment with different things. Social media didn't exist when I used to do this stuff, so I'm not sure what the math is on social media. If you look around your community and there's someone in your community that's got a gazillion followers for whatever reason, maybe you can partner with that person and do a co-promotion, and you can leverage their traffic and give them, in Zach's case, give them free chocolate or something. Just be creative in the offer. Don't start high, start low, and see what they do. See if that's something that they want to participate in. That would be my suggestion. There's no real hard fast. Barter is a good thing when you have a product that you're selling or a service. There's no reason why you can't offer your product as the payment. And if it is success-based, then everybody wins. You've got a variable cost and it's based on improved sales. So I think that's pretty good.
That sounds like the gentleman you were talking about last week under, what is it, Dennis? Comments sold.
Uh-huh.
Sounds kind of along the same thing. It takes a small percentage if you do XYZ.
Yeah.
Is that kind of along what you're saying?
Yeah, that's a little bit different. That's a software system that is going to be part and parcel of what you're doing. So it's not like a campaign. It's not a one-time thing. But essentially, it's they're betting that they're going to be able to drive traffic to you, which is why they're going for a percentage. So they're at risk. They're not asking for a bunch of money up front. So I like that. That means they have faith that their system works, and they have a proof that, hey, sign up with us and we'll both benefit. So I like that personally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do now, this is going to be a little bit different to you all, but I think it's something that we should definitely talk about. And this is really in the area of sweepstakes or giveaways or other promotions like that, the major purpose of the promotion, sure, you want it to drive sales, but you also want to increase your universe of potential customers. If you have their email address or they've signed up for your Facebook or whatever, then it's relatively low cost to reach those people with an offer. So I'm going to go through one that's oriented toward farming in particular for those of you in that space, but it works really across any category. And I'll share my experience with something similar a few years ago. Let me see if I can get this up. Okay, so we'll try that and we'll share and we'll. Okay, everybody see it okay? My screen?
Yeah.
The Live to Cook giveaway. Okay, so this is a company in Nashville, Tennessee that is they're basically a grass-fed protein operation that operates on a national level, and they have a number of farmers that they work with. They're primarily butchers that they work on. They prepare it, but I wanted to show you something that they are doing with a number of other websites that are not in their space, and they're all sharing together on the emails that sign up. So in this case here, it's $1,500 worth of prizes. Their name is Porter Road, and they have some others listed here: Uni, Meter, Knife Aid, Burlap and Barrel, and Opine. So let's just take a look. So and also this is if you look at the URL in the web browser, you'll see that this is just a page on their website, right? Some people call it a landing page, but it's not complicated. It's just adding a page to the existing website. And you click here to enter. So very low bar. It's just your email, nothing else. Is not asking name, address, all that kind of stuff. And you submit. And so I've entered. I guess it'll tell me that I did success. And you can see under here, by entering this contest, you agree to receive emails, and it lists all the participants. It tells you when the giveaway ends, which is March 16th. I guess that's, is that today? Yeah, today. Open to legal residents of 48 contiguous United States, blah, blah, blah. And I'll show you the terms and conditions, because that's something you either, if you have a lawyer, you'd want to run it by. If you don't have a lawyer, just copy this, because they pay a lot of money for legal help. I can tell you, I've done this before. This one's really good. The terms and conditions will work. Don't tell your lawyer I said that, but it will. So as you go down, you'll see what's in the package. And what's interesting about this, so the first one here, each one of these websites has a landing page on their website for the giveaway, but each one's different because it features their product first, right? So here is Porter Road. So Porter Road is first. This is their products that they offer. In this case, it's a $300 gift card, good for pasture-raised meat from their farms, et cetera. And they show some pictures of their products and so forth. What's really interesting about gift cards, and you probably know this, a high percentage of gift cards are never redeemed. They just end up being in someone's drawer forever and ever. And that's a good thing for a merchant. So gift cards are really good for promotions. Rarely will you see 100% of people using those gift cards. So here's their partner that makes a pizza oven that I guess you put on your back porch, and you can make pizza on your deck or so forth. And it kind of goes into that, and you get a pizza oven worth $460. Here's a company that makes a meat thermometer and other stuff. I don't know what else they make, but a $240 value. Here's some fancy knives that you win, forged knives. This guy's been making knives since 1890. So he must got it down by now. Burlap and Barrel is a spice company. I happen to know these guys. What's unusual about them is they fly all around the world and find individual farmers that they can buy the crop from the farmer directly. So there's no overhead or distributor in the middle, and they can get the farmer to grow stuff that they find a need for. So it's a really cool company, and they have all kinds of really neat spices, Burlap and Barrel. Really like them. And then there's another company that makes knife sharpening. So and it tries to prompt you to enter again, and then there's a shop Porter Road link, and that takes you back to their homepage and shows you, what they're all about, and you can see. So the point of this, from my perspective, is this is an incredibly low cost way to drive your list, to increase your list. And the key is picking partners that are complementary to what you're doing. You don't want something that's completely unrelated, or it's just a waste of time, in my opinion. But all of these companies all are in the same kind of space, and they can easily share these emails, no problem, because it's relatable. They would think that anybody who uses any one of these products has a need for any of the others. That's kind of the thinking. And even if you look just in our class, I think there is the ability to put together a promotion that we could do. We could do it through Accelerate Rural or through each of your websites or whatever, but we could put together something like this without too much trouble, without too much brain damage, and be able to grow, the email list and the social media list. So a little bit of work to put together the graphics and so forth, but not too big a deal. And it's something that, if it's not working, we're not seeing results, you can change it really fast. You're not depending on an outside agency to do stuff. So it's a pretty fast way to do promotions. So I really like the idea of this. Anybody have any thoughts in reaction to this idea?
I love that idea, Dennis. I've been taking notes about who I can contact in our current small short customer list and reseller list to do some co-promotion with right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, particularly if you think of it from an economic development perspective, you might be able to have partners that are just there, like a restaurant, for example. Even though a restaurant may have nothing to do with hemp, they might be really interested in driving, awareness of the region. So they would want to participate, as one example. I think once you start thinking about it, and also there's nothing stopping you from doing multiple ones of these, right? Other than time. I mean, you can try different ideas and different concepts and see, as my friend used to say, see if the dogs eat the dog food, right? That's one of the things about marketing is not everything works, but if you're not spending a lot of money, then it's okay. It's not a big deal to try different things. I will tell you a story. I had a website back in 1997 that sold computer parts on a national basis. And we ran a promotion where you'd give your name and email and all that kind of stuff, and your name would be put in a drawing to win an IBM ThinkPad notebook, which at that time I think it was fairly expensive. I want to say it was like $2,000 or $3,000 back then, which was a lot for a computer. We had 180,000 people sign up for that computer giveaway in about 2 weeks. And it was crazy. And it was the Wild West in those days. So we probably didn't even have to give it away. I insisted that we do. Some of the people in my group were saying, oh, hell, they won't know who got it. I said, well, we're not doing that. So we gave it away, picked a name out of a hat, but I'm sure it was completely illegal. We didn't have an accounting firm and we didn't have a bunch of rules and all that kind of stuff, but somebody got a really nice IBM ThinkPad. But so that's an example of a promotion that, those 150,000 people, we sold $5 million worth of computer parts a year online starting in 1996. So the internet was really brand new. And people were buying that computer stuff like crazy. So it worked for us, but you guys have different businesses and different things, but this sort of thing really is a good way to build your list and build your audience, which is really what one of the tricks is, building up your audience. And then you figure out, what do they respond to? What are the offer terms? What are the stylistically, what should it be? Who should my partners be if I'm working with others? Like if you think about it, I know some of you go to farmers markets and you sell at farmers markets. Well, what you're doing there is you're really casting your lot with the other people at the farmers market. You're all there You're in the same geographic space. You're kind of linked with them, even though you may not feel that you are. But in a sense, you are, in that you're all in the same kind of deal, if you will. And this is really not that much different. It just happens to be digital and online. But I think some thought should be made, and you can do it even with, like, for example, some of you at the beach, maybe you could do this with some of the tourist groups, I don't even know the names, Visit OBX or whatever, the different groups that whose job it is to build awareness. They might love partnering with you on something like this to promote the area. And all of us are in, generally speaking, are in small rural areas who all would be interested in driving awareness and traffic to your spot. So this is something you can think about. We're happy to help you and work with you as you think it through. But what I like about it is all of you have websites, one degree or another. So putting this on your website is really not that big a deal. It's just adding a page and some pictures. This terms and conditions, which is on the Porter Road thing, I promise you, someone paid a lot of money to a lawyer to get this. And I know that, you got to be really careful with this and have it reviewed by a lawyer. It's a lot cheaper to have them review something that you send them versus them write it. That much I'll promise you. So this has probably been vetted pretty good. So anyway, you have there's lots of places where you can get this kind of information. And I'm not advocating that you take legal risk. I'm just saying it's not that big a deal in the long run, especially if you're not giving away money, right? If you're giving away your products and services, no one's going to really complain. It's not like you're trying to rip anybody off. So, this is, as we get into these various things, we've talked about comments sold and we talked about Amazon Explore. All of these things are really to try to drive sales. That's what we want to do, right? We want to make more sales and grow our business. So you can't, it's an iterative process that you have to go step by step. You've got to build your audience to start with, and then you start figuring out the best way to reach that audience. What are they the most responsive to? Maybe they're most responsive to Facebook Live when you're doing a tap dance on there. I don't know. Or maybe they're responsive to email or whatever. Whatever the different techniques are, that's, you're going to have to figure that out. But I do know that this works. And this particular company, Porter Road, is very well known and well thought of. And they have these things just about every couple of weeks. They have a different promotion. And sometimes it'll be like for $100 gift card. That's it. And still a ton of people will sign up. This type of thing, for those of you in the food related business, I think would be a good thing to do with a partner customer, like a partner restaurant or a partner county government or some other entity that's trying to build awareness of your community. So that's about all I have on this. Anybody have any other thoughts or concerns they want to talk about today or bring up?
Hey, Dennis, while you were talking, it just, an idea popped up in my mind. My wife and I do a lot of 5Ks and half marathons and things like that. And those types of events often draw people, I'm thinking particularly like all of you who are involved in food and grass-fed beef and those types of things. Those races are always looking for sponsorships. And sometimes it's as little as $50 or $100. You get your name on the back of a shirt, and everybody in the race gets a shirt, and people wear those shirts around town. And so it's a great way to try to get involved locally and have an impact right there locally. A lot of those races will even let you set up a vendor tent there, and people can come by and see what you have, listen to what you have. And none of that costs you any money at all. So there might be some opportunities for that as well.
Yeah. Are you familiar with runtheeast.org?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that guy is an ECU professor, believe it or not, who runs that. This is his side thing that he does. He'd be really open to this kind of thing. And he handles hundreds of races.
Yep.
So runtheeast.org, you can check it out. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a young guy, fairly young guy. I think he I'm not sure what department he's in at ECU, but I think you could make a deal with him. And there are lots of those kinds of organizations. That one is just one. Tom probably knows plenty of others. And there's actually quite a bit going on in the virtual running space also.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
a lot of activity in that space where people are holding virtual runs, which is my kind of race because I don't actually have to go out there and run, right? But the idea behind it is they do just like a real run. They get sponsors, all that kind of stuff, and some of them are gigantic. I mean, there's one that I know of, and I'll if I find the link, I'll post it. But this guy is just retired up from the Marine Corps or the Navy or something like that, and he came up with this idea to do a virtual running club around. Oh, what's the woman from England who wrote the book about? Oh God, I'm terrible. My mind's going
Harry
blank.
Potter. You thinking of the Harry Potter stuff?
Yeah. So this guy created a virtual running club based on Harry Potter, and he runs it as a nonprofit. Last year, he made $11 million doing
Running
this.
it as a nonprofit.
Nonprofit. He's got hundreds of thousands of people that are signed up to do these virtual runs. He provides them with a shirt, provides them with, all this goofy stuff. But the point is, there's a lot of those out there that are doing this. You just have to do a little bit of research and find them. And you could probably be a partner with one of them on this kind of thing. People love giveaways and sponsorships and stuff. And if you can do it without spending a lot of money, why not? It's worth a test. I don't know. The guy in the video talking about influencers, he was talking about going deep instead of wide. So if you run across somebody and they say, well, we got 1 million followers, but so what? Do they actually engage with that person or not? That's something you have to figure out. There's a guy in Greenville, some of you may know. How many of you are familiar with Mr. Beast?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm just looking at his page. He has 55 million subscribers on YouTube right now. He's 22 years old, something like that. I think last year he made $30 million personally. So I'm not saying you can get in with him. Maybe I think Brady and those guys know him or know his organization, but that's just an example. That's an extreme example, obviously. But there are lots of people like that on YouTube that are out there trying to build an audience and would promote the heck out of your product if they thought it would help them gain subscribers. And assuming, that they're kind of people you want to associate with. I don't even know who Mr. Beast is personally. He might be a perfectly fine person, or he might be an asshole. I have no idea. But the point is, your digital work, really should be in the digital domain. So find places where you can connect with people that have a lot of followers or a lot of connections and try to convert them to be yours. It's faster than trying to build them one by yourself. I promise you that. And if you happen to have, for example, some retailers you're doing business with, approach them about a promotion. Those retailers reach a lot of people, not only in store, but also online. So maybe you can do something around them. And I think, with the farms that we have in this group, we could do some cross promotion, I think, that would not interfere with anyone in particular, but would build the audience for everybody. So you think about that, and I'm happy to think it through with you and work with you on it. But I like the things that don't cost a lot of money and that allow you to respond or change if it's not working. If it is working, great. We do more of it. If it's not, we keep experimenting until we find the formula that we want to try. So any other thoughts from anybody on this?
Hey, Dennis, can I share a quick Accelerate Rural success story?
Are you kidding me? I'm recording. Yeah, go ahead.
I give all credit to the Dennis Trotz for this, by the way. So to increase some, SEO for our website, I started a blog on Medium, which is one of the tools you recommended. We then went over to Lumen 5 and had that artificial intelligence, create a video for us based on what was in the blog. I actually did a voiceover for that, and then per conversation about publicity overall through this course we're taking, I took a short email and the link to that video on YouTube to just a bunch of minor and bigger media outlets in North Carolina. Most of them totally ignored it. But my hometown newspaper of the Robertsonian in Lumberton, North Carolina, called me, interviewed me, did a story. It's got a little bit more reach on it online than it did just in the local paper too. But I've had people call me from out of state, people I went to high school with that are now running businesses in Iowa that want to resell our products, folks that bought stuff online because they read about the story about my father-in-law, who's the reason why we have this business, his condition that the CBD helps with. So we've had just tremendous benefit just from taking a few of the things that it probably took me, half an hour to do is all it was, and just kind of applying it in the business and had something just work instantaneously just after a few classes. I really wanted to share that, and we're going to try to continue to find a way to get some free coverage based on media and helping tell our story. But we did it. And it worked, and the tools you provided have been so simple and just perfect for what we wanted to do. So I feel like
I'll pay you later. Thank you. That was excellent. Well,
to promote Hobgood Hemp CBD to his 55 million subscribers, and we can call it all even probably.
Yeah, that's right. Well, make sure you send me the links to the article and your blog, because I didn't see all that. I'd love to see it. But really, everything that we're doing. I'm trying to do it from the point of view that you all can do it, right? I'm not suggesting things that require hiring outside help, although you can do that too, and I can help you in that regard as well. But some of these things that I'm suggesting, if a dumb Pollock like me can work it, I promise you, you all can. So I just want to make that point that I'm glad that it worked out, and soon, when ABC or the Today Show calls you, then you've got it going on. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Like I said, I owe it all to Dennis Trotz.
Yeah, no. Accelerate Rural. There is no Dennis Trotz. Accelerate Rural. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's really cool. Congratulations on that.
Thanks, Tom.
I have a interesting story. It's not about this, but about a class, but I did kind of the same thing you were talking about with your CBD oil. I sent it to my cheese straws up to Oprah magazine back many years ago, and someone up there just loved them, and they featured me in her magazine, and then it just mushroomed from there. So if you have CBD oil or sweet potatoes or something, send them to where you want them to go and see what happens. You're not out of much product. And the next thing I knew, I was featured in Oprah magazine and got a call from Paula Deen from, in the Air Force One, and then the Food Network and Tar Heel Travel. I've been very blessed and with all of that, but it just mushroomed, like you said. It just sending it out or sending a blog, letting people know, where I sent samples. Here, try them, and somebody liked them and featured it. So you just never know, taking a chance.
I think that what that really says is it needs to be a routine as part of your business process, right? And one of the reasons that I really like the Lumen 5 and the Medium blog and all that kind of stuff is it's not a lot of brain damage to do that on a regular basis. You could do it every week. Hell, you could do it every day if you wanted to. But that content creation will improve your SEO results, your discoverability. You can't overstate that. Just even if you write, you can even review something, right? You don't have to write something about your product. Or you can say, some product you like, Lumen 5, write a review on Lumen 5. I guarantee Lumen 5 will pick that up and put it in their digital world. So there's lots of things that you can do, and the tools that we've identified, and I'm sure there are others. It's really not that hard to do. You just have to make it a part of your process and part of your discipline in your day to tell your story and keep telling it. Remember that guy who told us you had to hear something 28 times before you remembered it. So that's true. Maybe in this day and age, I think it's more like 128 times, but personally, but I'm slow. So, but anyway, I appreciate you sharing that, Jenny. Thank you very much. And, keep it up. I mean, it's it's a doable thing, and you guys are doing it. I'm very proud of everybody here.
Thank you.
Anything else? I'll let you guys go.
Yeah,
We're not meeting.
I'll
Go ahead, Tom.
just throw something out real quick. They did the, I can't remember if it was last week or whenever, somebody went over the My Google business, and I signed up for it that day. I didn't know anything about it, and signed up for it that day, kind of got everything listed in there. And they gave me the option to run an ad. And I've never run pay-per-click ads on Google. I've run ads on Facebook and social media, and spent a lot of money and had very little return on that. But I decided, in fact, a buddy of mine here has a very successful shoe store, and he runs ads on pay-per-click ads. And he told me the most he spends is $7 a day. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to try this and see what happens. And part of my challenge has been with the plunger, trying to find keywords that people sort of latch onto that are meaningful. And so I started running this Google campaign, this Google ad campaign. And as you go through there and you start looking at the analytics, it tells you what phrases people are searching for on Google. And so I was able to get, and then what ad they were seeing, and then landing on my page. And so I was able to do is start changing some of the content on my website so that those phrases that are on my website are matching the phrases that people are searching for. And so it helped me to kind of streamline things. I'm driving a lot of traffic to my website now at probably half of the cost of what my target was. Now I'm working on to increase my conversion rate. So it's a kind of a methodical process, but getting into that whole my Google business was like a game changer for me.
Yeah, Warren Allen is the guy's name, and he is in
that's right.
Greenville. And in our last class, I think just about the whole class used him in one way or the other. So you don't have to do this by yourself. He's not expensive. He's really aware of blowing money needlessly. He's very smart. So I encourage all of you to look into that. And you're also going to meet a guy, if we can keep him from going to jail, and I'll explain that in a second. I've got a guy who's one of the best wizards of Facebook ads that's out there. In fact, he's so successful that when he left his last company to go start his own company, the old company slapped a non-compete clause on him. So he was supposed to speak to our class. He called me up. He said he can't talk yet. Give him another month. His lawyer told him he'll be in the clear. But this guy is a wizard at Facebook ads, just like Warren is with Google. Warren's the best Google guy I've ever seen, including in California. I've worked with a lot of players in that space. And what I like about Warren is he's honest, and he looks at it from the perspective of people who don't have a lot of money. When you go to an agency
Right.
in San Francisco or New York, everyone they work with has a ton of money. And so they just assume you have a ton of money. And you don't want people like that. If you have a lot of money, fine. But if you don't, you want a guy like Warren. And this guy, you're going to meet, Patrick Gall, at some point. If we can get him out of trouble, he will amaze you. He's in Raleigh also. I know him from years ago. So he's a real good guy. But anyway, yeah, all the stuff that we're talking about, I'm glad to see some of you are trying it. Don't be bashful, give it a try. I'm happy to help if you get stuck on something, give you my 2 cents worth. Remember, it's worth what you're paying for it. So take that into account. But, it should work. Some of this stuff has worked for me. I've been in 8 or 9 startups over the years, some real successful, some total losers. So I've kind of been both. So I understand that. But I encourage you to give it a try. Now, the one other thing I am working on that I promise I'll get to everybody, and this is more for the farmers. I do have a deal working with Barn to Door that will give us an exclusive pricing for that, which I can't say enough good about them, and the traffic that they will drive will blow your mind. But more importantly, they'll give you help running your website and dealing with stuff like pricing and delivery and all that kind of stuff that a farm has to be aware of. Unfortunately, they only do farms, but they have made an initial offer for a discount for our group, and I'm trying trying to get as much of that as I can before I bring it out to you guys, and you all are free to do that. We're also trying to do something with Comments Sold, some kind of special deal with them, which we'll get. They are so busy, it's insane. They went in the last 12 months from a company worth about 20 million to a company with a valuation almost $1 billion. And
That's amazing.
they're on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. These guys are really going places. So they do return my calls, but it's getting harder and harder to get them to respond. So I just want to try to get some kind of deal. Any deal is better than no deal, the way I look at it. But that system really works like crazy. I mean,
Obviously.
and a lot of the big guys haven't figured that out yet. They don't even know about it. They haven't tried it. It's just small companies giving it a try and just, not going to cover off the ball. So those are two things I'm working on. And I know I also owe some of you some feedback based on our one-to-one meetings. And I keep saying that, but I am working on that as well. And I will be in touch very shortly with everybody that I talk to on that basis. So that's all I got for today. So anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, but your classes are great and very informative. So thank you.
Oh, great. It's fun for me too. I enjoy it. And I'm old enough now to realize that, it takes a team of people to get this stuff done. So I'm really happy that you all are here and participating, and all of you have a lot to contribute, even if you sometimes feel like you don't. Yet, in my view, you guys are out there doing this entrepreneurial stuff. You're the tip of the spear, and you're learning a lot. So don't hesitate to share it right back, just like we're doing in these classes.
No,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
We'll
Dennis.
see you all. We're no class tomorrow because I got to do something with a big shot. There's a pain in the ass. I have to go, but I couldn't get anyone else to take the class. So we're not going to have class tomorrow, but I promise I'll be back on Thursday, and I can't remember what we're talking about, but it'll be good.
Thank you.
All
Sounds good.
right. See y'all later.
Okay.